Okay,
Go ahead.
call the order. Hi, Scott.
Let's go. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Start off with the signature folder, whoever has it.
Sure.
Thank you. Alright, we have one for, forgiveness of, interest request for, taxpayer on a property of $6.35. So make a motion, we have to make a motion on this?
I think you could just do a signature on it, and
Yeah.
if we're all in agreement to it.
So we're all agreeing with that?
Yes.
Yeah, Jesus. Gotta shorten that name.
I know, really.
Just a second. Here we have a exemption, credit recommendation for, from KRT for, 335 Green Mountain Road. Tax rate, assessment, yeah, I'm trying to see what the, how much of, cost savings we're. So it's an all veteran tax credit applicant, so,
That was one of the first of the new.
right. So it doesn't say, but it's for, veterans, all veterans tax credit. So,
Which we just approved, so.
right. ART approved it. I don't know where we sign. Right here. KRT is busy.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with
Yeah,
the
very.
paperwork and the, documents they provide with all of their items.
We have another one from KRT, an appraisal for 81 Bailey Road. Camper. The assessment was reduced by $5,500 because of
These are abatement
abatements,
requests,
right?
right?
Yeah. So the amount is $151.36. So. Now it's signed. And then we have MS 232. We're all set on that, Caitlin, as far as from the state.
I'll just kinda explain what it is, so
Yeah.
just in case if those are unaware, the MS 232, that is just the total appropriations that were voted on at town meeting. It's a required document for the Department of Revenue. So what happens is after town meeting, I put in all the amendments and all the amounts that are voted on at town meeting, and it's just a report to verify that everything's there.
Next one, appointment of deputy for town treasurer, for our town treasurer is Bill Puckett, and he's recommending appointing Heidi Stebbins, which is our assistant for Caitlin. So, any discussions? I'll make a motion to approve Heidi Stebbins as a deputy treasurer for the town of Effingham.
I'll second.
Discussions?
Nope.
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tax collectors, property tax warrant,
Yep, so it's a recommittal tax warrant. So that is just so, as Andrea is the appointed new tax collector, she has to be designated the one for the tax warrant, that taxes. So that's just a recommittal.
just paperwork. Busy this week.
Yeah, really. You said there was a lot of signature.
It's another one from KRT. It's Providence Lake Road. Just gives a map.
It could be a current use, if you look at the top, he may have, I know there was one current use in there.
No.
No?
13 residents. Yeah, so it's,
Current use.
Yeah,
Current use.
reassess as the current use versus,
Market value.
right, market value. So the amount is, $1,076.31. They'll get back.
What, huh?
Well, you won't get back, but, and we'll, excuse me. So it's being assessed at $1,076.
Yeah, as opposed to 77,000. 39,000.
39, right, where'd you get 77?
Yeah.
39,110.
Yeah.
Yep. I always sound good. So this is what we got every year, an investment policy we have to adopt every year. Want to talk about it?
It's the same, there hasn't, the only real changes that are on there is the readopted date, everything's the same, the treasurer had reviewed it. And,
This whole thing.
and
Yeah, I
the
just need that
the
last one
selectmen
each
changes, Chuck, you were listed on it last year, so now it has the
This
new.
is just a signature, not a print. so
Yeah.
just-
I know,
What's that? It's weird, there's a different every time.
What's that?
Yep.
That's my name.
I know, don't, just disregard, just sign your name.
He's got split personality.
I was trying to confuse you.
It worked.
Alright, next object, make a motion to approve the manifest dated April 10th, 2025 in the amount of $71,360.91.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion to approve manifest dated April 17th, 2025 in the amount of $24,846.98.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
17th or 15th?
The 17th, is
17th.
Thursday, Thursdays are paydays.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen minutes dated April 1st, 2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those weren't in here.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, they were there.
That's a mail folder.
I know, but that's minutes you're talking about?
Yeah. Shouldn't those be in the signature folder?
Never mind.
Trying to confuse me again?
She did.
Just
Do you
to
sign
see
them
if you were
twice?
awake.
Wait, I put it, I swear I put it in the signature folder.
Review mail. There was a article from, Bloom Information presentation for,
I wanna say it was the Province Lake Association
is it the
that
province?
had sent me that, correct?
So Friends of Osprey Lake Alliance, it's a invitation to the Loon informational presentation at Lutheran Campground on June 8th at noon. It's a Sunday.
So if you guys wanna get your fix with the looms, there you go. I guess, Tyler, you wanted to jump in first?
If you want me to.
Sure.
I don't know if Rebecca was ready. So I had the updated quote from Axon in front of you. This is with the credit for all of our old equipment, the $600 credit applied to the subtotal, as well as us entering into the first year at basically the 10%. So the first year's kind of the lesser of an impact where we're doing this through the operating budget. So if you go to page 2, I've highlighted it for you. If this is approved, the first payment due, basically, they put June, but it would basically be due whenever we sign this and I send it back to Axon, will be $138.27. The remainder due by the end of 2025 is $1,244.65. And then over the next 5 years, basically, till 2029, the yearly payment will be $3,111.62. That'll be billed annually by Axon in June. I plan moving forward into budgeting for next year to budget that number into the operating budget to basically offset that.
So what are you gonna call it in your budget to actual?
I'm gonna put it in under equipment and then just budget that money for the payment to Axon. As long as the board's okay with that.
So we got 3,000 in there now, so you're gonna have to double it?
Unless you'd like me to do,
No.
no.
Why would you have to double it?
Well,
Yeah,
3,000.
I meant to, I'm gonna add this in for my budget next year, unless you want me to do a. basically like a-
Right.
I see what you're saying. Oh,
I could do a new line in the budget to actual for
I think it was-
transparency for like taser
Taser.
Yeah.
taser payment.
I would rather have you do
I could do
that.
that,
That way you have a detail.
works for me. So I'll put it in there, there'll be a new line item then for next year when budget and purpose comes around.
Got that,
Cool.
Scott?
I was gonna say, what do you think of budget committee chair? What's he?
Does that work,
I'd like
does that work for the budget committee chairman?
Transparency is beautiful.
Love it. So I'll just add a new line in there, it'll just be, we'll put Axon payment or taser, Axon
Usually,
taser payment,
right.
something like that, just so.
And just put stars next to the line so you want money to come from.
Okay.
I can actually, we can put it in there and we can just take it right out of there, it'll be a one-time thing every June. The payment. It'll be once a year.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it'll be a line item.
Yeah, it'll be a line item.
Yeah, that's okay. So you need a motion on this?
If I could get the board's approval, please, to enter into this with Axon. Just full transparency, the full subtotal is the $13,829, and that starts 2025 to 2029. And that's for, there's a whole lot of equipment on there, but I can give you a quick cliff note to what we're getting. We entered into it, it's a bundle agreement, so it's a lot cheaper to bundle it. That's given us 3 new tasers, holsters, a docking station, which, when we fire our tasers, you have to dock them. Right now we have, it's a cord that plugs into the computer, and you have to take the battery out and plug a, the best way I can describe it is as a USB into the battery port, and you download the taser activity, so that way you can show with your report how many times you discharged it during that event. And it'll show basically what time the discharge started, what time it ended. Each discharge is 5 seconds. And if any additional discharges, it'll show the time between each one of those, so that way you can go into the reports for use of force. This docking station does all that for you. So if you end up discharging your taser, you can come back, you remove your battery, and you put it into the docking station, and everything is uploaded right to your Axon account, and whoever the Axon supervisor is, me, will be able to pull all that and see how many times each taser has been arced, tested for duty, fired on duty, anything like that. We're also getting 30 patrol cartridges as well as a multitude of training cartridges. They're including a target, which we're going to integrate into our use of force.
You're not gonna use a new recruit?
Oh, he'll have to.
They get it, they get it.
He'll have to.
He has to, you gotta,
We'll get a new target, which we'll be able to fire every year, which it'll actually show you. And you can basically set it up for failure too, whether you can set it up for a bad connection. So if you don't have a full circuit with a taser, you're not gonna get the full effect. So we'll be able to simulate that in our training to show what you need. So when
Yeah, but if you got a target, how do you get this?
so there's points on the target that don't have like the conductive material.
Oh,
So it'll basically when you fire a taser and you don't have a full circuit, you're gonna hear a loud clacking noise. And what you're trained to do is, if you're able to, is you go in and you basically touch the taser to them for a third point of contact, because that completes the circuit. So if somebody's wearing baggy clothes, sometimes these don't make a full circuit, they don't penetrate. And you'll hear it, it's very, very clear when it's ongoing. And if, there's a struggle and a wire gets ripped out, you're not gonna have that full circuit. But if you touch the taser while it's arcing anywhere on the body, wherever that first dart is, that's complete, and that other one will make a full circuit, which will then result in the neuromuscular incapacitation, which is what the goal is when firing a taser. So that's another thing that
Comment on that.
we can integrate into our training to help these guys, to help everybody, be ready for that real world scenario if and when it does come. So, and there's a bunch of training cartridges. We're also getting inert cartridges, which they don't fire it, just kind of like the laser, so you can practice drawing and you don't have to worry about an accidental discharge. And they're also coming with, I forget the name of them, but they're basically special cartridges designed for, they have a suit, which we're not getting. But we're gonna have the cartridges, cause another local department's getting the suit and has extended the offer to train with them. It's a suit that basically stops the probes from going into somebody's skin. So you wear the suit, you can practice drawing and firing the taser, and those cartridges are designed to not have electrical charge in them. So they're still gonna fire the darts, it's just not gonna zap anybody.
so it's for the training.
Yeah, it's for training. It's another way to practice those real world scenarios in our use of force trainings. Being able to, draw tasers, fire them,
This time with a mobile.
or the mobile real world target in a real world scenario. Like we could set up scenarios where it's going to be, you have the option to, do the lethal option or the taser option, and the target will have that suit on so nobody gets hurt.
I know you gave me this answer last time, but how many times have you used your taser?
How many times have I used
Or
it?
your department or whatever? Last year, for instance.
We had one actual deployment in town, and last year we had four uses, 3 discharges, and then one was a drive stun, drive stun is for pain and compliance. So there's 2 components to a taser. The neuromuscular incapacitation is where you fire the darts to incapacitate somebody to
Put them out.
and then pain and compliance, which is where you can arc the taser without firing the cartridges, and you touch them, and it hurts, and it's to gain compliance through pain. That can be for if someone's actively resisting, and you're trying to get their hands out, or don't want to disengage enough to give yourself distance to create that full circuit that you're going to need to gain control. You can drive stun them to be able to get control of wire up close with them without having to discharge the wires up close, be rolling around in those, because if you touch those, you're going to get shocked. So, and if you touch between the spread, you're going to get shocked. So there's a lot of training to it when you first get one of these to know how it works and safely be able to discharge it.
Cool.
So yeah, if the board would be so kind for approve this, it's gonna definitely update the tasers that we have right now, because they are not no longer supporting the ones that we have. So if something goes wrong with them, we're kind of
Alright, so I'll make a motion to approve with Accent Enterprises for the new tasers for the police department in an amount of $13,829.40. And this will, how many years?
2029.
till 2029.
Till 2029.
I'll second.
Discussions?
I have none.
No, I don't have any.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you.
thank you for getting more in-depth information and the breakdown for us, because obviously you brought this to us last meeting and
Yeah.
we did ask for more, so thank you very much.
Yeah, our new representative is very, very prompt when we ask for something, he gets it to us within
Oh, that's
minutes. Couple more things I just wanted to add real quick. Saturday, 9:45, the Effingham Elementary School is gonna be having their Running Rascals race. It'll start at the school, it goes into the town of Freedom and then comes back. So during that time, just expect some momentary road closures at the intersection of 153 and School Street for when they're coming and going. We'll just stop traffic for them, just so everybody's aware that's gonna be happening. It'll be a very, very short period that the road is actually closed, but
School Street or 153?
153.
Oh, really?
So they start at the school, they go out to the end of School Street, they go down to, Village Road and Freedom, run to the intersection of Nason Road, they come back around and then they come back across the School Street and then they finish at the school.
Freedom involved too?
Yeah, Freedom's involved and then we're gonna have, myself and Officer Jindrak, since he works Saturdays with him and I will be doing that. We'll have this end of School Street closed while they start, cause they all line up at Partridge Cove Road and then we'll have somebody out here directing traffic.
9:45 on Saturday.
9:45 this Saturday.
You wanna put that on, web?
That's what, I figured that would be a good thing to do, just.
The public's welcome, so Linda, you wanna run the 5K?
Actually, I have once before, but that was a long time ago. Don't think so now.
And also, I just wanted to do a quick update on the background process for Hunter.
Okay.
Everything is completed thus far. The only thing that we're waiting on is the result of his psychological exam, which we should have tomorrow or Thursday, and his physical, which is he's just gonna go get done tomorrow. I don't see any issues with either, because he just got a DOT physical for his CDL, which the police academy physical and the DOT physical are pretty much mirrored. With that being said, would I be able to get a contingent approval for his background is done. We did our portion of that, no issues. Everybody had higher marks for him. Hoping for a contingent approval as long as no major issues with his psychological exam coming back. If we can approve to accept him as an employee of the town, where we don't meet for a couple more weeks, and see if we can.
We need the paperwork, right?
Get him start FTO, you mean?
Get him, well, we're hoping to swear him in hopefully next week if the board will approve it. That way we can start out getting his equipment, cause that's gonna take a while, vests take about 4 months.
Wow.
And we're hoping to have him in the September academy, so we're trying to make it as a quicker process as we can, to be able to get him into that September academy before it fills up, and they're filling up very, very quickly. So we're hoping to be able to have all his equipment and everything and get him a slot in there, so that way he can be through the academy in December and then on the road by the first of next year, being able to provide that additional 40 hours of coverage to the town. We did get the money from the federal government, so that is reflected on the budget to actual in the 7,000s.
Oh, 7,000.
But our background process, like I said, that everything came back high remarks, no issues on his criminal history, driver history, anything like that. All his references had high marks.
Okay.
None of his previous employers had anything but wonderful things to say about him.
We've already made a motion to
Yeah,
hire.
we did. Last
Yeah,
time.
if I could just get the final offer from you, I'll set up a time with him for his family to swear him in. I'll let the board know what day works best for him and his family, and we can kind of do a big thing. If any of the public would like to come, they're more than welcome.
I don't see a
I
problem.
don't see a problem.
Wonderful, thank you. Appreciate it. And if for whatever reason we have any issues when that result comes back, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But I don't foresee any major issues
That is
at all.
just a psych.
It's a psychological exam. It's done through
You've done that a couple times. haven't you?
it's done through a third party company.
Yeah, we're not talking about me though, so. It's pretty obvious where my psyche's at right now, I'm sitting behind this desk, so.
I'm actually gonna send his test out tomorrow, and we should have the results in anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. They're very, very responsive.
Good.
So
Yeah, keep us posted.
appreciate it. Thank you. Before I take off, does anybody have any questions for me, if I may ask?
You look good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
How was Bristol?
It was good. I got a sunburn. That was pretty cool. That's what happens when you don't see the sun for 8
When he
months.
leaves, I'll tell you guys all the stories about how he misbehaved while he was in
Listen.
Tennessee.
Your boss told you that. You gotta.
Race?
Yeah, we went down for a friend of mine's bachelor party over the weekend. We went to Bristol for the race.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was a good time. Loud. It's very, very tight quarters in there. Well,
There's 45 NASCAR cup cars on a quarter mile asphalt track, half mile asphalt.
it's a seat track too. It's very. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, next item is, zoning.
I just wanna give you a heads up, it is 4:58,
Thank you.
Oh,
2 minutes.
so we have
Put all-
2 minutes, I'll text Rebecca to come in,
well, I
or
would,
start making her way in.
yeah, give her 5 minutes or something. Alright, so, 5 o'clock, got the bids for,
Oh, we still have about one more minute, I just wanted to put it in your heads up.
1 minute.
It's set for 5.
Yep. 1 minute more.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You want me to do my report in that minute, cause mine will probably be that 1 minute.
yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll do mine really fast. So I finalized the MS 232, which is what we discussed earlier. I will be working on finalizing the purchasing policy. I wanted to get it in, but, a lot of things have been super busy for, nope, that's the investment policy. I see you looking. So I'll have that for the next meeting. We had the meeting to discuss the task list, so I'm gonna get that created. And we'll get that, published so all can see what the town is doing for all employees. One policy that's gonna be next to be updated is the internal fiscal control policy. It's been a few years since it's been looked at and planned. And last but not least, we have the hazard mitigation plan meeting tomorrow at 2:30 PM, which goes over for the hazard mitigation plan. That's all.
So you'll all be here,
I'm gonna try to be.
okay,
Okay.
2:30 tomorrow?
2:30, yep.
Okay. What about
We need
this?
to
It's already in my
post that, right?
calendar.
We can talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
It is 5, so we'll go ahead and do that and then I
Alright.
can jump in on that afterwards.
These have been kept in a mayonnaise jar. So,
A sealed mayonnaise jar.
So these are bids for, the fire station 2, for the renovation of the bathroom, shower, et cetera, et cetera. This one's from, Edwards Contracting. Looking for a price. I don't see a price. Taxpayer income.
It's gotta be in here.
Okay, total cost $66,000. Basically, remove toilet, sink, plumbing, toilet connections, clothes washers, dryer, gear extractor, pressure tank, water heater, propane on demand, ventilation for the bathroom, flooring, new door, new lighting, etc., etc. So. Got that 66. You gonna read it?
I will, I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna review them and.
Yes, they're not gonna approve tonight. Macron Construction, some resort. I sharpened it last year.
Yeah.
Pocket doors, the whole works. Cause I know there was limited, cause the door swung into the
It
office.
is the
demolition,
Pocket doors, yeah.
heating, plumbing. Their quote was $85,125. And last quote is from RWN Property Services. This is in Conway.
What's the name again?
RWN.
Just an open over to you.
Should have let you open it first.
You're just good, you're just dangerous.
Just see me with a chainsaw.
Engineers shouldn't run power tools.
Okay, again, renovations for the fire stations. Same proposal, $120,000.
Wow. It's a lot, huh?
Making that $1 million figure sound a lot more reasonable, huh?
That's it for that.
Okay, that's open.
Now we can get Rebecca.
Alright, I'll send her in.
It's not too
You're gonna
short.
send her in?
Well,
You're already,
You gotta
I
show
don't
me.
even know what I meant.
there's summons in your,
She coming?
I just sent her a message.
Anybody wanna do the selectmen's report?
Sure.
Well, you wanna go? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it was kind of a busy time with meetings, various meetings, about 7 or 8 of them. The planning board represented them as discussion about, road 6 roads.
Class 6
Somebody-
roads.
Class 6 roads. Someone came in with questions about that, and, we'll probably be coming here very soon, because. he has some questions.
The guy
It was
well.
just for information, right, at the planning board. There's also some discussion about wetlands, and the CIP is regrouping, and will be reforming. Grace is handling that, I do believe. There's some discussion on the cell tower, but of course, they haven't received any paperwork yet from the company like we had, so. I have been working on forming that committee for the building. So far, I have 8 people in mind. I don't think I really want to go any further with that, 8 or 9 people. 9 including
Yeah, I
myself.
probably just wanna make a note to everybody that, Rosemary's gonna be, handling, I shouldn't say handling, but, heading the committee for, fire safety, municipal building, renovations, whatever you wanna call it.
Line of sight there.
And, so going forward, you know, we'll probably have the 3 selectmen,
Yes, and
the
then.
2 chiefs,
Yes,
and then
and then
whatever.
the people that are, I'm still gathering information on them and contacting them. I haven't contacted more of them completely yet. Yes,
So out of curiosity, because of the conversations that were had
yes.
from the public at town meeting, and people said, well, I didn't know anything about it, I would have liked to have been there, we're gonna hand pick.
Well, I've got some people that were interested. What my plan is to gather this committee, and they were people that were at that meeting that it really expressed an interest. They're from various parts of the town. One of them is from the planning board, because I just wanted to, that kind of will tie in with the CIP. I'd like to have a meeting, an open public meeting, once we meet once, to have the town come as a follow-up, and I'm gonna plaster it on Facebook, on every Effingham site of when it is, for them to come and give their ideas, opinions. Not that we're gonna use everyone's opinions, but at least they'll have a voice. From that, we'll be able to draw some interesting conclusions, designs to bring back. So that's my thought process right now.
Do you, yeah, I don't see a problem with it.
No, I don't know, I just asked them.
So that's what I've been working on, and that's about it.
So when's the first date you're looking at?
I'm not sure yet,
Okay.
I've gotta contact this
So you're
group.
within next month?
Oh, yes, I'd like it within, and I'm hoping for a monthly meeting so that it doesn't fall to the wayside.
Okay,
You know,
Good,
it
yes.
kinda slips and,
yes.
so,
Chuck?
Yes,
As a board-sponsored meeting, all your meetings should be public, and you'll have to have minutes of each one.
Oh, there you go.
oh, yeah,
He'll be on.
right,
We'll definitely broadcast
Yes.
it.
So I
Yes.
just, with the comment, you said you'll have an initial meeting and then have a public
right,
meeting.
no,
All
right,
your
no,
meetings
they'll
are
all be
public.
public, right. And I wouldn't anticipate the public wanting to come really for the very first meeting, as we're just gathering to set up dates and times and so on and so forth.
But it'll still be
But
public.
it'll still be public, of course,
Cover yourself.
just not that big meeting,
Okay.
and that's it.
Any other questions from anybody? Good.
Yep.
Okay,
Rebecca,
that's it for your,
that's it, I'm done,
Rebecca,
On
please?
a report, I'm afraid it's a little bit
that's okay.
late. I mean, I know I emailed it to you, but I know you like to have a paper one in front of you.
Oh, we did? You emailed it to us.
I did, I always email it to you, but okay.
Yeah, Caitlin printed it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got to add her on the list.
Oh, what?
I couldn't find the email when we were looking. It didn't
I saw everybody on the
have it.
email, but you didn't have
weren't
to.
on it?
No.
Huh, okay, I'll go back. You know, it's always,
Usually you hand it to me and I can
and
understand.
also I was juggling emails because it was the first report after the election, so I was double checking to make sure I,
So it looks like you had a quiet couple weeks.
very quiet. Good thing to do when you're laid up with no knee.
I was gonna say, first thing I would like to ask is how are you and how's the knee, everything went?
4 weeks today.
Wow,
And I'm walking around the house without the cane, and when the cane, when I go out, I'm actually went step over step going up the stairs, was it up or down today for the first time?
Probably going up.
Probably going up, yeah, but it had been stagger step up until then, because the step work and the bike, stationary bike work are the biggies that they're working me on. But, yeah, just in the last week, I've seen an improvement, but I can't drive yet, because it's the leg you use to slam on the brake. I had total knee replacement. And I don't dare
no,
drive thinking I can't do it.
But there are those that would argue that you never could, I'm just kidding. I would be remiss by that.
Well, there are those that argue that I don't use the brakes. I mean, I learned to downshift when I first learned to drive. I don't need to brake, you just downshift.
That's right.
So I'm gonna curtail my hours, to just afternoon and the office hours, probably for the next couple of weeks, because I'm also still doing, even on the days that I'm not going out to PT, I'm doing 3 sessions of home PT a day. So I can get 2 in if I don't come in here until 3 or 3:30 on Tuesday.
So for the month of April, you're pretty much
right,
half a day.
Yeah, half a
Yeah,
day, so
Tuesdays.
the hours will be a little less,
Yeah.
I'm turning the phone on more at home, checking the email more when I'm home. Although I did finally bring my laptop back in and leave it here, so I'm feeling like I moved back in. But,
Okay.
but I was very grateful that it was as quiet as it was. So, and I didn't send the actual copies of the permits, because I actually haven't even scanned them yet. So,
Yeah, it's pretty, it looks
Yeah.
like just RVs
they were
and
pretty
solar
boring,
Yeah.
so,
and a
if anyone was worried, they could have reached out.
camping cabin.
yeah.
So,
So while we're on this, is the solar permits, is there any, I had a conversation with the fire chief, and there's, from the state fire marshal's office, there's some concerns about, it's particularly the mounting, it's because of the wiring and the electrical aspect of it,
Yeah.
that the state fire marshal's office feels that there should be a section where the fire chief signs off on solar array permits. So he was gonna be here tonight to discuss that, but
Yeah,
he's ill, so.
But we don't, zoning doesn't oversee
I know,
electrical stuff.
I know, so That's why I said from the fire marshal's office, there are some things, because life safety code, it's not like building code and stuff like that, life safety is a completely different thing.
Right,
That
but
goes-
that's a
just
larger
given, so.
discussion, that's a much larger discussion that we might have, because building code is partly life safety.
Yeah.
And if we are looking at that, we should have a bigger discussion about where we're going with that kind of.
Yeah, I would assume with the solars though, basically they have a certified electrical company that comes in.
Right,
I mean, I know Chuck and myself, our experience with solars, our solars.
I mean, we do.
Yeah, I mean, they're all up to code for the
Are we,
state.
you know, why would we have a sign off for a solar installation when we don't have a sign off for an entire house that has a full electrical component?
Because there's a separate sign off on that, you have to get an occupancy permit for,
We don't do anything, no. Until we adopt a building code
Yeah,
and an
no.
inspector in this town, we are only enforcing zoning. We are only making sure that the structures are within the setbacks and all that sort of stuff. The septic stuff is overseen by the state, and I tell everyone who applies, I say, you are required to follow the state building code.
And
for
provide a copy.
electrical and all that sort of
And
stuff
provide a copy for us, for the town, of the septic system.
of the septic system, but all the other stuff, the electrical, the plumbing, all
Right.
that stuff, they're obliged as builders and property owners to follow the state code, but it doesn't have anything to do with local control. So I'm just, you know, among other things, I'm cautious about sticking our toe in the water about a level of local control about something that really doesn't fall within the purview of the zoning ordinance. And then finding ourselves backing into a situation where people are saying, well, if you're doing this, why aren't you doing that? And if you're doing that, why aren't you doing that? That's why I'm saying it's a bigger conversation.
like I said, I was just,
Yeah.
that JT was gonna,
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I
I'm
get,
happy, yeah, now this is what I can do, what we've done with the driveways and stuff like that. JT is now on the mailing list for all permits issued. Before, he was just getting sent copies of
Right.
driveway permits. And I was just sending the health officer copies of houses that need his sign off on it, even though they'd already been signed off on. It was sort of a duplication of effort. Now, the email that you all got, I'm just including everybody on it. Let's not pick and choose.
which is good, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so the fire chief and the health officer will get the monthly report with the list of permits that have been issued. That's probably the person to see me. List of permits issued, and they can follow up with any of those.
Right.
Because they'll have the full information in front of them. And technically, although it doesn't always work that way, since the foundation I just looked at this afternoon that was already in on without a permit, technically, they shouldn't have started work until they get the permit, which would mean that the follow-up would be fairly efficient.
Okay. We can have a separate discussion with JT.
Yep.
Find out what he's looking for.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
okay,
that is status quo.
all right, anything else? Hobble back. And I wanna thank you and the town for being so adaptable during this time. I mean, you know, it went very, very, very smoothly. Everyone at this end was great. Caitlin offered to scan stuff. She did send stuff to me at one point. I mean, it just, you know, it went really smoothly.
Well, thank you. Well, I hope
That
you,
is good.
I'll
you're
be out
doing,
dancing in no time.
got a 5K this weekend here, so.
Well, somebody asked me if I was gonna run the Boston Marathon.
Gosh.
You can run with the kids here this weekend.
I don't think I'm running. I'm just waiting to get, waiting till I can,
Open door, you got it.
I can get it.
yeah, yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you wanna do your report?
So we had a site walk last Thursday, with the contractors. The awarded contractors for Pine River Road, the first stage. 3 of us went, to try to narrow down a timeline of when they're gonna start. Initially, it was, not really the greatest news, it is what it is, but initially it was looking like a start date of, middle to the end of August. After doing the actual site walk and looking at the work, to be done with the, estimator and project manager for the construction company, he feels confident that they can bump that up until July, possibly even the end of June, so.
That's Dawson, right?
Dawson's correct. And coordinating with the paving company so that everything runs relatively seamlessly. The thought process amongst everybody is, once the culverts are installed, particularly the culverts, the boxed out areas are gonna be brought up in lifts. You obviously can't do that. You can do that to some extent with the culvert on the sides of it and things like that, but, you can only compact a culvert so much. But, is to let that set for, ideally 30 days at least, to let it get pounded in, get traffic over it before they start to even consider putting hot top over the top of it, so. Getting that all time, the timeline, all together and stuff was that meeting. We had the gentleman from Allstate come in today.
Yeah, we'll just jump back in though, so Dawson probably can move the schedule up a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said that.
Did you? I didn't catch it.
July.
Yeah.
July, or maybe even as,
Maybe even
maybe
late
June.
Okay, thank you, I missed it, sorry.
Yeah.
I am glad you brought that up, cause I did actually have a resident ask when they were starting it, and I'm like, I think they might mention it tonight, but I'll ask if not, so.
Yep. What's my train?
Allstate.
Allstate, thank you. Bruce Davis from Allstate was in today, and I feel like it's always very informational, educational on, addressing and maintaining our asphalt in town and moving forward, and, not just simple reconstruction like we've been doing, and how we, move forward, our course of action is moving forward, of maintaining what we have and, doing maintenance on it. So I set that up. I wanted to, I felt it would be beneficial for all three of us to be part of that and hear it, so that they weren't just, hearing it from me. They did give us a disc. Caitlin's going to be putting it on the website, I think you said. And I also asked that, the budget committee get it as well, so that they can, cause it does dive into the education of the public about, dollars and cents and budgetary things, how to budget for these things, the real cost estimations of these things, what things are by the mile, and the scales and so forth, so. And why it's important not to, just continue to chase your tail, cause you'll never catch up, and, they did everything in a 30-year cycle, and that's, the way we're doing it. What do you say, it's, you do 30 miles, it's 60 years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
60 years before you get back to mile one. So, if you have 30 miles road, we only have about just under 20, right around 20, I'm gonna say, it's under 21. So, yeah,
40 years.
so 40 years, yeah.
It was very informative.
So setting up with the sweepers to do sweeping,
Library,
yep.
gravel.
I think that initially we weren't gonna sweep the library, but I think we gotta sweep the library, and then we're going to address the parking lot and the depressions in the parking lot. And the thought process is possibly doing the same thing we did on Pine River Road, which was dump gravel, 3/4 inch gravel, grade it out, and somewhat compact it, roll it in. It's kind of beyond the point of cold patch, but we don't have a budget for hot top. So,
I think we'd probably be just wasting it right now, if we did hot top. Cause I get,
The areas are way too big for doing patchwork at this point.
correct,
But the key thing is just filling in the potholes for some of the elderly people that are parking and trying to get to the building. There are some pretty good dips right now that are filled in, would be perfect with the gravel.
So, but the smaller ones so like for pedestrian traffic, the smaller ones between parking where they necessarily would park and the front entryway, could those be addressed with cold patch?
There's a few of them, but there's one that's of particular concern, Chris, it's probably about 3x4, and right now it's about 4 or 5 inches deep in one area. That one I think may be too big for patch, but that may be something Kevin could.
Well, I kind of looked at it and I still feel like that might be a candidate for cold patch. Just simply, there's several different reasons. We sweep the parking lot and then you have a dirt patch. They're gonna be tracking it in. When it rains, it's gonna get loose.
I mean, you
There's
know
gonna
where
be
they,
loose,
you
there's
know
gonna
where
be
they
loose
park
stone,
pretty
yeah.
much coming in, and if we did cold patch there and then.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
That makes sense.
Just for foot traffic, cause it is still going to be, you know, Mother Nature is Mother Nature. It's still gonna rain. There's
Yeah.
still gonna be, you know, tripping hazards. There's always gonna be tripping hazards, right? You know, a tree limb, an acorn could come down, somebody could roll an ankle on it, right? To be realistic, not to be dramatic, but, I think we try to minimize them the best we can, but I think that those might be candidates for cold patch.
Yeah, the patch would reduce the amount of dirt being tracked in the
Yeah.
building too.
So, but the bigger areas, I think we could,
Well, the front entrance and all that.
yeah. But the parking lot itself needs to be swept.
Yeah, okay.
I just, before I finalized and set a date with Mike, because the last time we talked about it in a meeting, then we've gotten
adding.
3 or 4 more snowstorms since then.
Yeah.
Do we want to add any roads to that? Cause if you look at Crossroad, the intersection with Old Pound Road, there's a lot of dirt. I mean, for the most part, you take the Green Mountain Road, Townhouse Road, the contractor does the sand salt mix. I personally feel like it works. Very good. I mean, there's always traction sand there. I find no fault with that. But it is, you know, the nature of the business, there is sand there. On the other, where the speed is a little bit higher, you know, 35, 40 miles an hour, it will get blown off the road. We do eventually need to address that because it just goes to the shoulders of the road.
Well, we noticed
And that
that.
adds to the adding of the shoulders. It's just the nature of the business.
Yeah.
So I don't really think we need to sweep the main drags, but, you know, with rain and stuff, I think it'll wash off, but the secondary roads, the smaller intersections, I don't know if you guys felt like it would be,
Anybody from the public wants to make a comment?
no? Okay.
It's your call. I mean, what's Kevin?
Well, it's our call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what about Kevin? What's he say?
I didn't ask him about the sweeping. I haven't asked him about the sweeping, so.
His recommendations? I mean, I think Corner Road does. Potholes are coming back up again.
It's just the only thing with the amount of material that's there. If you don't get that off the road, I mean, it holds the moisture, it redirects the water as it's trying to leave that surface area. It may redirect that water to the potholes,
Right.
making the potholes worse.
Guys
So-
coming from the library down the corner, he's gonna go to the, recycle center, so he can run the sweeper. Yeah, clean that up around the historical.
I mean, like last year, we went to the transfer station, the pavement was new. As you guys heard with Bruce, you gotta get those aggregates off the road,
Right.
the roadways. That's more geared towards when you're gonna resurface them too, but, so we did have snow road swept last year while they were going in and out to the transfer station. So realistically, if they're going from the library to this, then we can do those intersections, those short roads.
I got it, I don't have a problem with it,
I don't
Then a townhouse road,
You're
okay,
right.
yeah. And JT's gonna do the bridges, the fire department.
correct, and the fire stations. Then they say they would take care of the fire stations
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did hear that,
It's
right?
not- Yes,
Okay.
you did.
So I didn't have that, I took that off the list, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to, have you reached out to our maintenance person? Or do you want me to do that
For when you
for
say minutes.
the grounds?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I did see, her the other day. She came in and asked a question. And I wanted to confirm with you, because I know you had mentioned a few things and I didn't remember exactly when, what and when you wanted them to start with
You can,
stuff.
I would say you can start any time now. I'm hoping that, Saturday's snowstorm was it. I was hoping the snowstorm before that one was it, and the one before
Can you please
that.
knock on wood, just in case?
I said, I'm hoping that that's it, but
Alright, so start anytime, if I recall, did you say you wanted anything else? I thought I heard something about,
Brad was gonna do something at the library. Brad was
Yeah,
gonna
he's
sweep the
working, yeah, he's
library.
gonna do it in front of the library. I guess.
okay, maybe that's what I'm getting confused
To
on, okay.
prep for sweeping.
I
Okay,
already talked to Brad about it, so.
Perfect.
He said.
alright, so I'll reach out to them, I'll let them know they're good to start anytime for,
And this, what's the name, the landscaper,
With Todd Nason.
Todd. I think last year you put up one total bill for all the mowing.
correct.
You wanna break that
I
down?
can ask him, either do it monthly, I think monthly would be the best bet, so that way we can monitor what's going on, cause I believe cemeteries were over last year, so,
Yes.
alright.
And I don't know if he does the mowing at the transfer station where that's like a perpetual maintenance thing from the landfill cap.
Yes.
Does that come from a different accounting thing? And if so, should that be tracked separately? Cause he does that mowing too.
It probably should go into the landfill.
Right now, I think it goes under the line item for
Mowing.
where the clearing is. So if so, we would have to create a line item under,
Under what?
4325, or I wanna say 25. I think I might be mixing it up with the collection.
Well, roadside mowing and 4312.
Roadside mowing?
Oh, no, wrong one. Sorry. We already did one side of the road all town this winter.
Yeah, that was extremely helpful.
Solid waste, disposal. Yeah, 4325. We have no,
I actually think too, now that we're
That's
talking,
like-
I think cemeteries, we have the cemetery one come out. I think the rest of the municipal bill, I would have to double check to be
Yeah.
100% sure, but I think it actually comes out of 4194.
yeah, we probably should put a line item for,
I mean,
solid waste cleanup on 4325 and add for lawnmower,
I mean,
mowing.
if you really wanna go.
I don't know I don't know what it costs. We don't have a breakdown of what,
Last year was I wanna say it was 8,000.
not for mowing, it's total.
That was total for everything.
Yeah, so what's
I
the
can't tell you exactly what the
landfill
cap
is?
was, but.
Yeah. Is there a way we can have it broken out with him?
He breaks it down. He'll break it down on the bill itself for which area, how many hours, and the price, and then he gives the total. So I could look into last year's and see how much it was, definitely.
So, add a line, looking at it. I'm looking at the budget chairman. You agree with that? That's what you're looking for?
That's what I'm looking for, because I feel like,
It should go in this category.
yeah, I mean, we need to just confirm with the state on, as far as the maintenance and the mowing of that goes,
Right,
how often that has to happen, just reaffirm that and,
I think it's if it has to be no more than 3 inches, if I'm correct, 3 or 5 inches.
as far as the grass, yeah.
Yeah,
Come on.
I believe it can't be any more than 3 inches around that.
So ask him to break it
and
down.
I don't wanna shoot myself in the foot going on record right now, just in case somebody from the state is watching that, but I'm guessing they don't police that too well. Because you go in any other transfer station in New Hampshire, and one time a year, they go with the rotary mower and mow their cats. And we're doing it weekly.
Wow.
Get some goats.
So let's see if we raise some housing.
You all set?
Yep, thank you.
Alright. Couple things, we did get the steel container in at the recycle center and all the appliances, the fridge, air conditioners and all that, Freon's been removed, has been loaded into the container. I think there was a total of 24 fridges.
Wow.
-1,
There's one.
is the cage empty now?
No, there's still some that needs Freon taken out. At the intersection of, Champion Hill Road and, Green Mountain, there's a telephone pole that's still in the ditch. How do we address that?
We've addressed that, that's
I
been,
saw that, yeah.
that's a perpetual addressing. Just like the wire that's still on the ground around the
Right.
corner.
Well, that's gone though, right?
No, there's still some there, they didn't get it all. So, I basically, last time I talked to one of them, I said, you got 30 days, get that pole out of there, it's going to my house.
So is this,
Same thing.
Eversource pole?
Correct.
So they were just on Green Mountain, Townhouse yesterday, dropped a new pole at the end of Libby and they're putting one just down the road.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can contact them to remove that hazard out of the town road?
You said it was on it was the intersection of Champion Hill and
Green Mountain Road.
Yeah, because it does, with the water flow and everything else, we do
Yeah.
get a heavy rains. Gonna be an issue. We can charge, we can,
I
Damage, we can go
reach
back
out
to
to them
Eversource.
and see what they state and,
well, it's their pole.
no, I know.
It's a nice pole, I wouldn't mind having it, but.
See what they can do and try to get that out of there.
Or can we say, put a sign there, say free, come and get it?
Sure, we can do that, I just want you to know I'll be picking up while I'm pointing out the free sign.
There's I think it's the same guys in the email the other day concerning, notices for, registrations that you get in the mail. Everybody gets that unless you request to not have it because there is a $1 charge to it.
The reminders? Is that a reminder?
Yes.
The original, yeah,
Yeah.
just the
The reminders when you get it in the mail, so you're
Right.
basically getting a $1 charge for that. So I talked to Andrea about it, our tax collector. And, basically, we kind of came up with a price based on the number of, registrations she sends out, notices and everything else, plus, in addition with, they have to mainly, with the stamps, the town pays for stamps. And plus the manual labor of stuffing the envelopes.
Right.
Printing all this stuff off, stuffing the envelopes and mailing it. It comes out to about $3,000, but we get the $1 back, so, $1,500. So Caitlin had an idea, I'm gonna let you jump in.
Well, this is a proposed idea, since the last time we had talked about this, Andrew and I wanna talk about it more because something came up. So we're going back and forth, we were talking about sending out a postcard to registered voter, not voters, sorry.
Registration people,
Yes,
taxpayers.
owners of motor vehicles, to pretty much say, contact us if you would not like to receive these mailing notices, there's $1 charge. We don't hear, then it would be, $1. You still would get that $1 fee unless otherwise notified. I don't know what time it is, let me see if she wants to come in here and maybe talk about it, but I know she had.
You want me to get it?
You want me to go get her?
I'll get it.
Okay, see if she wants to talk about it, cause I know she said I don't know how much she wants to discuss, but that way we can get this. So we're talking about the notices, the courtesy notices.
Yeah.
And I know between the time you and I had last talked, we were kind of thinking about putting that off for a discussion. I didn't know if you wanted to bring up the discussion right now while we're all talking about it to see if.
Yeah,
So what's your plan?
well, I thought we had a really good plan, and I was just doing Invoice Cloud, which is where I go on, and that's when people, they go online and they pay their motor vehicle registrations or dogs. And then the other side of it's the tax, which isn't part of this. So I pulled in a couple from someone that we had discussed before that don't want their notices mailed to them because they had an issue with the fee, but now I'm kind of wondering how that works with, if we're not mailing them notices, that's fine if they wanna opt out of that, but that's not gonna stop them from going online
and renewing online, and then we still have to mail them the
The
registration. So
registration,
I'm
right?
kind of now wondering how,
Mhm.
cause I'm learning, I'm gonna,
That's okay.
as I'm finding out, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, how is that gonna affect what the purpose of us trying to get away from mailing those renewal notices?
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Does
I
that make
got you.
sense?
So what's your, what's the number of, what's the percentage of, as far as online versus people coming in? Do you have?
I don't honestly have like an exact figure, I can, try to work on that, but I mean, we do a lot online. A lot of people opt to renew online,
Oh, I
and we're
agree.
mailing those out.
So, we don't have to make a decision now, but can
Yeah.
you come up with the next, I don't know, 9 months? Come up with
Yeah.
something that say, this is the percentage that we do online, this is the
Yeah.
percentage that we have to mail. Just throw some bunch of numbers together and stuff, what your experience is. I know you're new with this for the last month.
Yeah, I can do that.
Is that okay? Is
Yeah,
that the
that's
right?
fine, yeah, and I actually was gonna try to call Avatar, cause I just found this out, so I'm texting Caitlin really quick, wait a minute, we might wanna like table this. Avatar closes at 5.
Right.
Cause I was gonna call someone from there and just have them even explain, exactly how that works.
Okay.
Like, if we shut someone off from receiving those notices.
Like we did,
Right.
yeah.
Is then there a way to go back on and kind of put it back on them if we're gonna end up turning around and mailing something? You know what I mean?
I was gonna suggest that and see if that's something they do. Cause I feel, and it may be if you're doing like an online payment, it might automatically be in there because you're gonna be mailing it, so
Well,
I
that's
think
what
calling
happened.
them's best.
They had come in and done the dogs, they were renewing their dogs, which I appreciate, love that. But it was flagging me, it kept popping up, warning, do not mail notice, warning, do not mail notice, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And
Wow.
that's why I'm trying to figure out what that whole kind of purpose of that fee is, it's only $1.
It does make sense because of the work.
But that's on
involved.
registration, what that have to do with the dog registration?
We still mail out the dog registrations also.
Because they're renewing online.
Right.
I just did mine today.
And we're mailing them, so when they do it online, they're expecting us to mail those,
Tags.
the
Tags.
tags.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, like, is that what's our dollar, is that covering a portion of, all of? That's what
No.
I'm not sure, and I was
No.
gonna call Avatar, like I said, but they were already closed, so, again, just learning now and trying to figure that out, and I just wanted to avoid us doing what we think we're doing, but then have one of these moments where it's like defeating the purpose at the same time. If we're gonna still keep mailing everything out,
Do we have to mail, or can we just, since everything is the internet?
Well, it's the tag, but for the dog license,
Well, I can understand that, but I mean, as far as,
the registration.
basically
They
do it
can,
on,
yeah, they can
email.
print it out,
No, email everybody.
yeah, email them and they can
I
print
get
it.
my insurance cards that way once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
I do too.
Oh, you mean to email them their registrations?
Mhm.
No, you can't.
Because it's.
So no, I think, are you talking
Just,
registration notices?
notices.
Notices we can. People do get email notices.
How's that? I don't get it.
You have to give us your email. Not many people do. I don't think there's a lot
I've
that,
done my registrations online in the town now for the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, I understand doing that as registrations online, but do you get an email notice that,
It's
you're-
I go in and renew,
Mhm,
I go in and renew it,
yeah, but do you get an email that,
yes.
yeah,
oh, okay.
And then once I've processed it, and they process it in here, they
mail it out.
mail it out to me.
So we have a lot of options.
Yeah,
So we still gotta do some homework.
yes,
Okay,
and I'll work on that for sure.
okay.
Alright,
I'll be in touch.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
No, I wish I'd just give that gentleman $6 out of my pocket and we'd be on our way.
Hey, well,
And Leo, I don't think I've received anything in the mail on my registration.
So you probably opt out on
I must
resident.
have at some point opted out of it and said do email, because the only thing I get is an email.
Yeah.
For the renewal.
We got some work to do. I'm done. Grace, you're up.
Oh, thank you. So I have two things I wanted to update you on. One is the library trustees have been working with the library trustees in the town of Freedom to see what we can do to maximize our resources. So we formed it started out as just some informal meetings, and now it's worked into a very good partnership with Freedom. So basically, this is so we don't duplicate really spending money on the same things when we could just share it with the other town back and forth. So we're already starting to do that, and it's working out very well. So we're going to start publicizing it a little bit so that people know. So for example, this has been in place anyway, but if you wanted to get a library card in the town of Freedom, you could go over there and get a library card and check out books, and there's no cost. So they have some different books than we have, so it's an additional benefit, I think, for each of the towns, so we're not both buying the same book that, we could share. So that's just one of the things. In both of the towns, we're working with the elementary school, and they're helping to design a logo for us. So we came up with a slogan, which I actually have to look at it because I'll say the wrong thing. Oops, and that's not. Sorry, I had a thing of cookies that appeared, but that's not what I wanted to tell you about. So our slogan is bridging our communities, connecting Effingham and Freedom Libraries. And we want to have a logo in the middle. We gave them suggestions of a bridge or something like that, but we're having each of the elementary schools participate in that. So I wanted to let you know that that was happening.
Can you put a toll house on that bridge?
We had some interesting discussion. But I can guarantee you, probably the favorite one that's going to come through, haven't seen it, undoubtedly there's going to be a dragon drawn with the bridge. I mean, we're just talking about the age group. So anyway, I wanted to let you know about that. Then the other thing that I came in for is I wanted to go over sort of a proof of concept of something that we're doing, and before we go out with everybody else, I wanted to run this past the selectmen. So I actually filled out an outdoor event application, but I wanted to tell you about this. So the library is going to sponsor a new community event called the Elfingham Christmas Market. And
Do the what again?
Elfingham, it's not Effingham, it's Elfingham, for Christmas. So it's a takeoff on the German Christmas markets, with having vendors in and different ways of celebration. We have this scheduled for November 29th and 30th, 2 days, yep, I did see that. We should see if we added an L, we could have Elfin. But anyway, it's November 29th and 30th. On the 29th, it's from 11 to 5, and on the 30th, it's from 10 to 3. We chose this date specifically because we wanted to tie in with all other events in town, other things that are going on. So that's the same day that we have the Christmas tree lighting in South Effingham. So our concept was, and I know JT has some plans for earlier in the morning. I don't know if he's brought that up with you or not. Okay, never mind. I won't bring that up then. Okay. For those in the know, there's something else going on in the morning. We wanted to have Santa arrive at the library in the fire truck. And the idea is to have juried vendors there, setting up their wares. We also have Santa Claus is going to be ensconced in his workshop, which is the shed. We have a photographer who will come in and take pictures. We want to have an event every hour going on, and we already have a number of events lined up. And then we want to sort of move people down the road. The fire department is having a spaghetti dinner that evening, so we want to conclude in time for people to go to the spaghetti dinner and then go to South Effingham to go to the celebration at the church and the Christmas tree lighting. And then we want to have it the second day. We hadn't originally, first we'd originally had 2 days, and we brought it down to 1. But the vendors told us if they're coming for 5 hours on Saturday, for their time and effort, they really recommended that we have it for 2 days, so we're back to 2 days. What we wanna do is get as many community organizations involved as possible. So one of the, so the Heritage Commission is going to sponsor somebody who's going to give a short presentation on Christmas in Effingham, historical Christmases in Effingham. We have wreath making class, cookie decorating, all these different things happening each hour. And the whole idea is to get the community in and just to celebrate. We've gone over this with JT, how we set up things and, you know, have it safe for everybody. And basically that's it. And I wanted to get your feedback before we went forward with officially going to all the individual community organizations and boards to see if you have any issues with this and concerns. And if you want to see the form that I filled out, there's a couple of things I put D because we haven't worked through them all yet, but.
What's the date again?
It's November, it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And we chose that because there's quite a few people who come back into town and families get together then, so this would be an event on Saturday and on Sunday. So Saturday would be from 11 to 5.
The 29th?
The 29th, yep, and the 30th, Sunday would be from 10 to 3.
Now, my curiosity, Grace, when you say the vendors, are you playing, is this like a Christmas craft fair type thing?
It is, but we're calling it juries
Think of
because
the
we
German
really wanna
Christmas
be
markets?
very, yeah,
The what again?
like the.
Oh, German.
Yes. So anyway, I have the form, but I don't know if you want it now, or if you wanna talk about it, or if you have any questions, but.
You said you still have stuff pending?
Well, like the thing that's on the back, security and traffic control, I wanna talk with the organizations first to see if we have other volunteers. So we have volunteers who will help to do crowd control in the, you know, where the market is going to be.
So you're looking for approval tonight?
Well, I am looking for approval, but even if it's just, yes, sort of, I wanna be able to go out to the organizations, as long as it's not a thumbs down, I don't wanna go out and advertise this to everybody and then not have you guys be comfortable with it.
Approving the concept, to
Yeah.
be able to move forward to the
Yeah.
next level of really
I don't have a problem.
diving into details, to make sure everything can work.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with that, is I wouldn't see any issue with it, and I wouldn't take that tonight, I would let,
Okay.
I was just gonna say.
I would let you.
Yeah.
Sure, and I'll
With
just
with
finish
our,
fleshing
with
out
our
the info.
good
Okay.
graces, and then we can get a completed application.
Yeah, that's what I would look at.
Yep, yep, that sounds good.
But it sounds great.
Yeah, it does sound
That-
good.
I think that would
I
be
think it's gonna be
great.
such fun.
So,
Um,
I am,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Hours, Grace, on that
Oh,
Saturday?
on Saturday from 11 to 5. And I believe the spaghetti dinner starts at 5,
yeah,
so that's,
Isn't this when the tree light?
it is. And then they'd be going, the idea is to push them down 153, so then they could go down to South Effingham and go to the concert in the church and the tree lighting.
Tree
And I
lighting,
wanna make
usually
it-
what, 7, 8 o'clock?
It is.
yeah, I think,
Yeah,
7 o'clock, I think is,
Yeah, usually there's a concert before.
Right.
and so we started out thinking we wanted to do like a community event, you know, where we could do a lot of different things. I will say we have a number of people who volunteered for events, so we want to have this meeting with the volunteer organizations and the commissions on the first Tuesday in May, which I think is the 6th.
Correct.
You are, thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Which is the 6th, at the library at 5:30. So if anybody's interested.
Chris, do we know how many people the firehouse holds for dinner?
JT, not to answer that.
no,
Just wondering.
You know,
The-
something,
the fire
pancake
rate
breakfast is
capacity?
Saturday morning, and they'll have it set up there.
Yeah, I
That'll
don't know
give you
there.
somewhat of an idea, but.
so I believe that, based on that conversation we were with JT last Friday,
Right.
it's basically the same as this room right here.
Okay.
49
I was
Capacity
wondering.
46, 49, 46.
Unless you open the garage doors.
Yeah, it was 40 something.
You open the
Okay.
doors up.
Grace,
Yeah.
Right,
just for
that's-
clarification, you said May 6th, the
Yeah.
time again, and what was it for?
5:30 at the library, And this is, so now I'll reach out to the organizations, but anybody who would like to.
So it's like an
know more.
organizational
Yep,
meeting, okay.
Yeah, we have a core group that's been meeting and has a lot of the details, but now we wanna open, now that we kind of know what we wanna do, we wanna open it up to other organizations. And as many who can be involved, that would be great. We already have a, hot chocolate stand, let me think, I have to think of the different ones. Somebody who has, baked pie, all she does is pies, so I plan to be first in line there, I will tell you that. I'm trying to think of the other ones, but we have 5 of them already lined up, and the idea is to have, we're aiming for 25 vendors.
No,
It's awesome.
nice.
Anyway, that's it,
Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
thanks.
Missing something?
Yeah. I found this one. Next item, trustees of the trust fund, member resignation and member appointments. So we have a resignation of Janet Barkowitz, effective March 15th. So, for Karen Payne, Carol Pfister, trustee of the trust funds. She has, effective immediately, said sorry. And she, I think, did we do this already? Nope. So we have, appointment, replacement, the trustees have approached Elaine Chick to accept the position of trustee, which she has agreed. Pending on the select board appointment, Elaine will be filling in the 1-year term left for Janet's resignation. So, make a motion to accept Elaine Chick as in the position of trustee for a 1-year term.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Aye. So I was looking for.
The other one, the next one we don't have paperwork for.
That's what I was looking for.
That's the one we talked about before.
I know. There's a lot of stuff covering tonight.
Do you want me to cover this one?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, I'll start off. So the other item of business is, asking the board to make a motion to officially hire the new assessing clerk. Our new assessing clerk is Elena Pikett. She has, very,
Great resume.
yeah, and she was very awesome to accept the position. What?
Don't mind me.
Sorry. So, if I could just have the board to make a motion to accept the hire of Elena Pikett as the assessing clerk.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept Elaine Pikett as the assessing clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No discussion? Aye.
I didn't think you wanted
Did anyone
discussion on
have
that
any-
one.
Did you have a discussion?
Okay.
Nah,
Did anyone else want that?
nah. Did you go to school with her?
Yeah, sure. I'll take credit for that. She's considerably younger than me, I believe, but sure. She went to school with my kids.
So we already covered, motor vehicle registration, so announcements, do we have anything?
Actually, yeah, I do. Transfer station will be closed this Sunday, April 20th, due to the observance of Easter.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make sense.
I'm glad I thought of that.
Makes sense.
And they'll-
That is a holiday listed under the
Yes, it
transportation
is.
ordinance.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
You gave us some dates earlier too. Was that for a later date? You're announcing that or no?
That's for me. I mean, the office will still be open.
Okay,
Besides
Okay.
the
Yeah, the
7th,
shelter.
it'll be
Okay,
closed
okay.
early, but.
Yeah.
I'll confirm that, and on April 29th, I'll make any announcements needed.
So you'll be, putting that on the website, as far as the closing of the website, transfer station?
Yes. Actually, I should write a note on that. Thought of that this morning too.
so I haven't seen any, I mean, before we get to public comment,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any other business where we're gonna discuss the to-do thing. The to-do list.
Oh, the Microsoft, to do?
Well, that's,
That's
I mean, she told me that on the phone, cause I wasn't here for that work session because it snowed. So I couldn't leave work.
That, what I mentioned in my report, I'm gonna be getting that going by the end of this week, and I'll add, there are a few things, that I think we had brought up with policies and, different departments wanting to try to implement different things. I believe, maybe some ordinances or other policies, and I haven't gotten to play around with the Microsoft to do 100% yet, but, from what I believe is I can put each person and have them as the, I don't know the correct word for it, but the person in charge of that specific duty, and hopefully
They
everyone
can
will be able
alter
to.
that,
Correct, correct.
So I can go into it and
You
I
should
can
be able to.
add notes and things
Correct.
like that to the
Right.
to-do list.
Correct.
And
Okay,
if you complete something, you can go in and say, completed.
what's the software name, again?
That's Microsoft, that's Office 365, it's part
It's
of
in that.
it's part of our stuff. And, JT was actually one who told me about that, which I'm
Right.
very grateful for, because that would be,
the other thing
Right.
which I saw you pull out earlier is the DRA.
oh, yes, the
and
perm file.
The perm file.
Perm.
So I asked Caitlin to look into the perm file. DRA keeps a catalog of, and they don't, obviously they're very busy, they don't automatically give this to town, you ask for your perm file. And it gives a record of any RSAs that we adopted, and warrant articles, specific warrant articles, and ETFs, CRFs, and what year they happened, whether or not they were rescinded, the amounts, and so on and so forth. So it's basically tracking of the warrant article side of our town meeting historically.
And there, I mean, it doesn't have to be a discussion tonight, because I think my discussion will be very lengthy. But reviewing that perm file, it has not been updated since 2023, so there are a few things from the last two town meetings that aren't reflecting on here, like the adopt all veterans tax credit. And I believe the Heritage Fund is also not updated on here as well, or commission. Not updated on here, but that's understandable, it hasn't been updated since 2023. But with looking at this, there are some things that, and as we're talking about this tonight, I don't know if the board would, I can reach out to Michelle Clark, who is our Department of Revenue, advisor. But there's some things on here that are blank.
That are missing.
Yeah, I would say probably, I reviewed it today, that's
it-
30% of them.
It's just something that is a little concerning in my eyes.
Yep.
So I don't know if it was just, a mistake that it wasn't checked off. I don't know if it's something that
Well, the
town has
procedure,
not done.
it was never followed through with procedure.
Correct, so I wanna make sure, looking at this, that we get all of this updated,
But this is all through town meeting, we have to get this approved. Right?
Yeah, we approved all of these at a town
At some
meeting,
point.
Oh, we
at
did?
some point in time, or a public hearing.
They just haven't checked them
So
off.
we just never updated the
So you-
state, never just got the information?
Well, that's what we need to find out. You take, like, we just recently had this conversation, don't wanna bite my nose off to spite my face, but transparency, right? So credit card payments,
correct.
we just had that discussion about
Yes.
whether we can or cannot accept credit cards as, and, for payments. And according to this, we have not adopted RSA 80:52-C. So,
Well, and then, with you bringing that up as well, one of the things that I would have to deeply look into it a little bit more, but it is, I'm trying to find it, I'm looking at a small screen, so please bear with me here.
how's the conservation commission?
It had to do with registration fees.
Yeah, RSA 261-53.
Yes,
Fees
fees for
registration.
registration permits, which also states we have not adopted.
Right.
So it's a few things,
Part
whether,
of conservation commission.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
that's-
but that one right there, that one you just brought up, is that the fees for registration? Is that the dollar fee
that
that
the-
we were just talking about earlier?
No,
No,
Okay.
that is the fees that a municipality collects when you register a vehicle.
RSA 36-A-1, establishing conservation commission. According to this, we've never adopted that. We clearly have a conservation commission.
And establish a heritage fund.
That's new.
That's-
That was
that's
brand
new.
new, so
So
that's,
this hasn't been updated since 2023.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
so
was
that
done
was-
last
So that's
year.
another one that can be checked off.
Well, and while I have Grace here, she might be able to help with this one.
The
The
library.
library,
So there's 3 of the libraries, but there's one here, Grace. It's the library income general revenue. Are you aware of any adoption to that? Cause that states we have not adopted that one either.
I have to look it up.
Okay, so
Wanna
that's
give her
another one we
ours,
have.
give her the RSA number?
202. It's
Or you could
202A.
just send me all the library ones.
Yeah, most certainly I
That's
can do
all on
that,
the sheet, yeah.
library income general revenue.
yes.
So that is RSA 202-A:11-A.
Yeah, I'll
little a.
I'll send Grace an email with the ones I have. The other 2 say adopted, it's just that one that wasn't, so. But
Do you
yeah,
have the dates on the others? Is everything complete?
let's see, hold on.
Chris got it right in front of
If
me.
it's not, just send
So
it to me.
2004 were both of the others, which is the accept gifts, other than money, and then accept unanticipated revenue. So those were both adopted in 2020, or sorry, nope, 2004.
2004.
So that's
2004, that
correct.
makes sense, correct.
So one would assume, because they're essentially 202A
Yeah,
for little c, little d, little a.
I
So,
suspect it is.
and it just didn't get recorded at DRA.
But this could definitely, like I said, this could be, if you want, I'll start off with reaching out to Michelle Clark to confirm about how the process works, how they create that firm file. And then we can, work for our, next meeting, I could do a follow-up and, if you guys wanna talk further about it, you know, whether it's a work session or anything like that, or what needs to be done, I'm more than happy to. I just wanted to get answers first instead of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get your answers first from, Michelle. What the steps are, I would assume you gotta go back to all the public, the meetings in the past to.
I just wanna make sure we're all current with what we need to have for adopted.
Grace?
Right, and that one, as I was thinking about this, and exactly what you just said, Leo, this wouldn't be something that you want from the library trustees, so this is from the town report.
Right.
Right.
No, exactly, I was just seeing if you happen to
Off the top
have,
of my- I wasn't
yeah,
here
no.
then. I'm
Oh,
just-
okay, sorry. But no, I'll look at them, I just wasn't
Okay.
sure if you knew, you know, at the top of your head if you had it.
So, you know, I think it's a priority, but it's not really, this is gonna be a lot of work
That's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna take.
to research.
It is, I mean, it is and it isn't, I agree, but you take like there's one that's cemeteries.
It was
Yeah, there's
the,
some- Never
get the
approved.
funds from cemetery or sales.
Right.
or-
Sales of,
Sales
lots, plots.
Right. And then,
Go ahead, Chuck.
yeah,
No, when you mentioned cemeteries earlier tonight, you got on that discussion, it dawned on me. Lenny mentioned at the voting on Tuesday that with the green burial piece, we
Mhm.
needed to come up with adding some additional verbiage to the ordinance or whatever. I can, if you want, schedule a work session, I'll work with Caitlin to have Jerry Nurk come over from Freedom. Jerry's the one that designed that whole thing with the state and asked me to do like a 1 hour review and the things that we should be considering relative to the implementation of that here in town at our town cemetery. It's not a rush, but I can set it up with him,
Yeah,
Caitlin.
yeah, do you need the board or just, basically you're just looking at getting the language?
You are the cemetery trustees.
I was gonna say, I think what Chuck is asking is just setting up a work session with the board.
Okay,
in
I didn't
lieu,
get
This
that.
one
but in
is-
lieu of the cemetery trustees, because we only have one cemetery, we appointed a, what's he called?
A sexton.
Sexton.
Are you gonna give him control of all the answers to the questions?
He essentially by RSA and that's, well, you were here, you voted for this.
Yeah, I know, but we've gotta add some additional stuff to our actual policy.
Yeah.
Which isn't him, it's you. And I didn't know if you
We
wanted.
still have to approve it.
I mean, there's, it's gotta be sectioned, there's gonna be a sectioned off area at the town cemetery. there may be some other provisions and parameters, and I didn't know if you wanted to be aware of that.
So I would say, yes, we have to have the sexton, what do you call it?
Sexton,
Sexton,
sexton.
So I
Plus
can-
the board, and
Okay.
we'll just set up a meeting
I'll work with Caitlin.
Yeah.
with Jerry,
with Jerry.
It shouldn't take much more than an hour, I don't think.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah, just send me an email once you get a general idea. The only time would be the week of May, the 5th to the 8th, probably would not work.
Okay. Alright,
I think
so,
she's gone, Rebecca. And then, part of this whole thing, I know there's a lot of work that goes into it, but, we have like the treasurer's report, trustees of the trust funds report, sorry. And it tells about all of our ETFs, CRFs and things like that. And, there's like the gaps without looking into it. I found it funny that, yes, it was rescinded in 2020. I'd like to know how much money was in there, but there was a public safety building, capital reserve fund established in
That I remember.
2003.
Yep. And then it was put into general fund in 2020.
2020 was rescinded?
2020 was
Yeah.
rescinded and put into the general fund.
I just out of curiosity, I just saw that one, that's one that stood out to me, and I'm like, gee, I wonder how much money was in that.
What was it, 30,000, 40? It was,
Yeah.
Peanuts, that's why.
yeah, it wasn't much.
No, it was only 10 grand.
Oh, was it? I thought it was more than that.
No, it was a very small amount of money.
So we must not have put any money in it for years
It
and
doesn't
years.
look like it had been put much in it, and I think that's why it hadn't been
I
active.
do remember that,
Utilized.
Yeah,
budget committee, yeah.
yeah, the budget committee was discussing it.
Just a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I hear you.
But that had to be a warrant article at that town meeting.
To rescind it.
To rescind.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Move the amount of money into the
Yeah.
general fund, so.
Right.
Yeah,
All the
absolutely.
details are in that one warrant article.
It's just if after what we just went through, if that was established in 2003, and we continue to add money into it
It would have been nice,
over
huh?
the course of the however many years we're looking at now, 22 years, right?
Would have been nice.
Yeah.
Alright,
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
So all the more reason why,
We
when
need-
you have a group of people at that time that vote to establish and write warrant articles to establish something, trying to look towards the
Distant future.
distant, that maybe you should never reconsider rescinding those. You
Right.
should never consider rescinding those.
Exactly.
So I didn't see those things on the agenda, so I wanna bring those up. I apologize for interrupting.
Good call, good call.
Always bring stuff up.
public comment.
I have to.
Go ahead.
Linda Rabbit. A lot of our money goes to the school district, correct?
No, I'd say 2/3.
Yeah. Nate Williams, does anyone meet with him through the year? Does the budget committee meet with him through the year? To see any updates, something that might be coming up, anything he could inform us about?
Well, I know in the past, Jim Pittman never met with the budget committee in my 12 years.
I know that.
I mean, it's not just Jim, people
Yeah.
prior to that.
No one has, I don't think. But is it something you might wanna think,
Yeah, Scott, go ahead and try, I mean,
might be better,
bring him to a meeting, next meeting or something like that.
I mean,
Can reach out.
who does he talk to? I mean, must be kinda hard on him too, when he really doesn't, have
He's by himself. It's
Yeah.
like out there by
out
himself.
there, just a thought.
So, are
And they've had one school board meeting since he was elected. So, and that was it was surmised in like just a brief breakdown of how the meeting went or whatever. It was more of like any committee, any board where it kicks off, where they nominate a chair and so on and so forth and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And how they were gonna address the fact that their operating budget failed. Yeah, I would personally like to see Nate come in as our new representative and take back to the school board that we don't appreciate the shade that was thrown to I personally don't appreciate the shade that was
I think that's the
thrown
number
in the
of us,
newspaper directly at the
Yeah,
town of
exactly.
Effingham of failing the school budget once again, when 60% of the voters in Wolfboro themselves didn't approve their budget.
Very true. I think discussions throughout the year may be beneficial. The other thing that might be beneficial, should we contact our governor, the governor's office about
Education funding,
about changing this formula? It has not been looked at.
That's
or
not the governor.
changed.
that's not the governor, that's the school district.
I thought the governor also,
I thought the
No.
state, yeah, something with the state.
and I know,
School
Dave
district.
has met with the school district, I know you did once. Would it do good if we had a monthly meeting, something that might help us? If anybody had any ideas? Or maybe Nate could mention it now and again?
I think your first task is probably just to get the Nate in here,
Yeah,
next month or so. Let them have another meeting with the school board. And then we'll get some feedback from them, plus we can provide the feedback also to Nate, what the town's people are looking for. So can we set something up like that with Nate?
if anybody's got any ideas, I think it would be beneficial maybe.
And I see 2 people have left the board.
Well, I know one has, I don't know about
Guy,
two. I
there
didn't
was
realize
another
that.
one, but Guy,
Yeah, guy.
he resigned.
The school board?
Yep.
Yes.
And he was a pretty strong advocate for our
There,
thought process.
there also has been a problem in Tuftonboro that the school board doesn't really want to undertake, so that might be a
Oh, maybe.
reason why too.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the other person that resigned, but there were 2 people.
We're on the school topic while you brought it up, and we all, as citizens, we need to, I think, reach out to our legislature
Yes,
and just
and I was
have the
thinking of
conversation,
that, Chris.
have a conversation about the education funding. 2 new bills were sponsored and passed that just solidified that even deeper, and, I still, in my own opinion, I don't see how, people like Representative Cordelli cannot say that they're not just trying to dismantle public education. I strongly disagree that that's exactly what they're trying to do. And, I mean, when you talk about 40, I think it's roughly, don't hold me to these numbers, but somewhere in the vicinity of $4,200 goes towards state education funding now. And it used to be $12,000, $14,000, $16,000. That's a far cry. And I mean, you have the Stratford County Superior Court judge that ruled last year that it was unconstitutional because the Constitution says that the state has a responsibility. He made a ruling, but, we're still not following his ruling because it was just that county's attorney, I guess, judge. But we just need to be in everybody's ear about this. It's just not,
How many homeschoolers do we have in Effingham?
it's not just homeschoolers.
No, I know, but I'm asking
Don't
you
know.
a question. Do you know this?
Anecdotally, we try to keep up with that, I think we've got between 20 and 25.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's,
And do you know how much they get per child?
No.
depends on what their family income is, so I have no idea.
And if they have themselves, applied for the voucher.
Right. They don't have to disclose.
Which part of that voucher, when it comes to homeschooling, I'm not saying all of these kids, and I'm not saying anything against
No.
anybody deciding to homeschool their kids.
Yeah.
That money, when those vouchers goes for the purchase of books and things like that, which goes to Amazon. So it's like you can't use our taxpayer, or, our money to help offset our property taxes, you're adding to our burden in the local towns, but was it Bezos who owns Amazon? Who was that?
Yep. It's a vicious cycle, unfortunately.
So,
It might be helpful to Nate also, we kind of got thrown into this, if he had someone that, he could talk to about it and we could give him some things.
That's what, say, let's set up a meeting.
Yeah,
next
I
month
can
or so
come in,
after the next
right.
board meeting for the school,
Mhm.
you'll have more insight of what's going on.
Yes.
And I appreciate his persistence, because he did run before,
Yeah,
and he
did.
lost.
I didn't realize that.
He ran against Jim Pittman last time.
Yeah.
So he did try before, so he did get thrown into it, but he did ask for it, and I appreciate him
I
asking
know,
for
but
it.
I
so.
think
Just like
you
us.
might use
Yeah, really.
some support here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, we should show him support, definitely.
Any, Scott, please?
Yeah, so just based on that discussion, would you expect him to come and meet with the select board before the next budget?
Well, yeah, I probably, I would recommend that and have notify the budget committee to show up
Okay.
versus,
Instead of having him come to Tuesday.
or you can have them come to the budget committee also at the same time. I mean, later on when you have, the next meeting is
June
in
17th.
June. Yeah, you could
That's
have,
enough time for this board to meet with him and.
and you can make the same presentation to the budget committee, if you wish. Either way.
Okay, but actually I think both. But yes, thank you.
Any additional public comments? Not seeing any comments? Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, I just didn't wanna,
Nope, he's done.
Leo, can you just take the time with the adjournment,
Okay.
please?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 6:20.
okay. Okay.